G'day legends, welcome back to another episode of DIY install kits. So today we're going to be working on the Nissan Patrol Y62 range, so the Series 5s. What I have in my hand here is a clear PPF bootledge. So the benefit of installing one of these bad boys in your car is going to protect against any sort of scuff marks and scratching on that rear bar area. So if you are a mum with prams or a dad that likes to have those slide out drawers and get a little bit sort of wacky-dacky on the weekends, this has got you covered. So it's nice, affordable, cheap, and the installation is probably going to take about 15 to 20 minutes. Right, so included in the kit, you're going to receive your clear PPF bootledge, an application squeegee specific for PPF installations, and our slip solution concentrate. So this will be inside the kit. What you're going to need on your end is a couple of 1 litre spray bottles, which you can find at Bunnings. I think they're about $10. We would recommend using rubber gloves. So these are nitrile gloves. So this way it doesn't stick to the adhesive side of the film, which will sort of eliminate any cross-contamination during installation. What you also need is a bunch of microfibers to help you with the install. Right, so once you've got that all set up, then we're ready to go to the next step and get the installation ready. Alright guys, once you've got everything else set up, we're going to come to the back of the car here and I'm going to just give you in a nutshell what this PPF kit does. So it is optically clear, but again, when installing PPF, you just got to make sure that your prep work is 100%. So if you do have any light scratching or scuff marks, we do recommend buffing the rebar first before applying the PPF. Sometimes the PPF does cover any small scratches, but you want to make sure that you have a nice surface to work with. Okay, so the PPF is going to just fall short of this edge here where it curves up, and it follows that bottom line. So at least with this corner, you're going to get all nice maximum coverage, and it leads itself from here to that edge there. So you're going to get all round protection, and it's nice and concise all the way through. And there we go. So as you can see here, there's sort of dirt build up and everything there. So we're going to go ahead and get this rear bar ready. So what I would recommend using is we have a 3-step process here, which you can find these 2 products at Bunnings. So we've got a multi-purpose cleaner here, which is step number 1. We've got a wax and grease remover as step number 2, and then an isopropyl alcohol as a step number 3. So we're going to go ahead and clean this rear bar. Step 1 first. So we'll set it on to jet. Really get into that corner. So it is really important to note that you keep your microfibers separate, just to avoid any cross-contamination, because these cleaners do different things. Give it a nice wipe down. Make sure that we're going all the way up here as well. So if you are installing PPF and you happen to spray there and it's not clean, all that dirt and grime is just going to come down and sit in this area here. So just as a precaution, you want to get everything around the area clean as well. So as I said again before, it's all in the prep work. Alright, so that's step 1 done. And we'll go straight on to step 2. And just be mindful of this rubber seal as well. If you see any sort of dirt or any build up here, just make sure you give it a wipe down too, just in case something falls while you're trying to apply PPF. So you can see, it's starting to look good. And just to finish it off, we've got step number 3. So isopropyl alcohol is a perfect final cleaner. So it just removes stage 2, which is the wax and grease, which the wax and grease removes obviously wax and grease. Yeah, pretty much. Nothing to say there. I was going to say something, but I didn't. So what we're going to do now is you're going to grab an empty 1 litre bottle of water. You're going to fill it up with 6 to 8 pumps of this, and that's going to act as your slip solution. So all the instructions are on the bottle. If you want a little bit more tack and less slip, you're going to use 3 to 4, but I recommend using 6 pumps to 1 litre, and that should give you enough movement. So we're going to go ahead and get that done now, and then work on the installation. So once you've got your 6 pumps in there, we're going to set it to a jet. We're going to soak this area up. Remember, we're going to aim for this. I don't want to be spraying up here and having all this sort of drip down. So as the focused area, you don't want to come any higher than that. Now it is a forearm workout every time that you spray, so just be mindful of that one. So it will come in a long piece, so it does get a little bit tricky to remove. So I'm going to have my cameraman step back a little bit. So you're going to start from the inner point. Pull it down to about halfway. We are going to spray it. This will just remove any sort of static that's in the air that might attract dust, debris, dirt. Alright, then we're going to go down to 3/4. Now, lay it on the ground. I'm going to step on the backing sheet. And make sure you hold it nice and tight at the top. And then I'm going to slowly step forward. I'll keep spraying. Keep the backing sheet out. Then when I come around, I'm going to grab the other top. I'm going to add a little bit of tension to my arms and to lay it on the other side. So it does get a little bit hard to see this film when you install it, but see how I can sort of move around with 6 to 8 pumps in the litre bottle. So the slip solution is doing exactly what I want it to do. Okay, so our next step is just placement. So I want to make sure that it's even on both sides, because we are going to add a little bit of stretch. So I'm going to bring it over across here, and I'll get my cameraman to come in. I'm just going to fall short of that edge. I don't want to be creeping up like this, because then you're going to get a weird sort of line down the bottom. So if we can just butt it up against there and just come off a little bit. And we're going to break this up into thirds. So I'm going to do this section first, and then because this curves, I'm going to work on one side and I'm going to work on the other. So I'm happy with the position there. We're just going to add more slip solution. This way your PPF squeegee has something to glide on. It's not going to catch any of it. Just going to work on thirds. And just making sure that the most important thing is that we're following that top line. Because it's designed to be stretched, and we've designed this kit to do so. Just want to make sure that top line's nice and followed through. So if we're coming closer, we can have a look. Might not be able to see it in the camera, but it's just fallen short from that edge. And it's nice and consistent all the way through. Okay, so we're only going to work on the top half here. We'll work on this later. So I'll switch it around over this way. Now what we're going to try to do, it doesn't have to go all the way to the edge, but because we want an even sort of finish on either side, as I'm pulling it, you can see that this is sort of sitting in. And I'm trying to sort of make sure I marry up that line just before that edge. So I'm going to pull a little bit just until those creases come out. I'm going to drag across the edge. So we're going to work on the front and then come around. So we're working on that there, and then we can just go ahead and follow through. So as you can see up close, it's just following that line all the way through. It's allowing all the slip solution to come out and not get stuck in this area. And then you've got a nice little, I mean there's a little crease there, but we can work with that once that's dried. And then we work the same on this side. So you can grab the edge and sort of twist it like this a little bit. But the main focus is just getting a little bit of tension into there. That way it sticks down nicely. So we do make a mistake here. I've sort of come up a little bit too high here. So now that's not sitting nicely. What I can do, being the slip solution, I can just lift it up to where it's affected. So it'll come off nice and easy. Apply the slip solution, readjust, and then tack back down. Like so. That line is nice and consistent all the way through. And the benefit of it is it's going to protect this edge. This is where we see a lot of damage. I mean, it's a four-wheel drive, it's a family car, we understand. But at least you have that little bit of peace of mind that the film's going to do its job. So we are going to lift this bottom edge up. We're going to spray a little bit more slip solution down the bottom here. Doesn't get overly tricky here, but you want to make sure that there's no sort of air bubbles or moisture bubbles getting trapped. So we're going to run PPF squeegee along the edge like so. And what we're going to do is we're going to flick down. So we're going to start from up top here, add a bit of pressure. Now you're not going to damage the film because one, it's going to be a brand new PPF squeegee and it is PPF. So essentially add a little bit of heat if you do see any sort of light scratching. We're not trying to go down like this. We're just trying to flick out. And when you get to around the corners here, just do a couple of flicks extra. Like so. And then we'll work towards So once we've done all that and it's sitting all nicely, we're going to let it dry for about 5-10 minutes. As you can see, it's already starting to lift up a little bit here. So what that means is there's a little bit of slip solution that's not allowing the adhesive to do its job. So it's no big deal. What you need to do is just grab another 1 litre bottle, just fill it with water, and then we're just going to flush out and dilute the slip solution. That way it creates more tack. So we'll let it dry, we'll let it sit and do what it needs to do. Just give it a bit of a wipe down just to accelerate that process a little bit. As you can see, it's just nice, clean and consistent all the way through. It's pretty much invisible. You are going to get with any PPF installation, if it's not tucked around any edge or crevice, as you can see down below here, there's a little bit of a line, but as I said, if you follow that top line there, these kits are designed to come through nicely. All right, so when we install it, because we've done it a million times, it didn't really flick up on us. So if you do happen to have something like this happen, obviously due to the slip solution, sometimes it might be a little different. What you're going to do is grab 1 litre bottle of water only, and then in the jet nozzle, what I'm going to do is just try and flush out all that slip solution. And with your squeegee, press it down nice and easy. Okay, so then you just grab your application tool, just in a microfiber cloth there, and this will just help dry out that edge. We do also recommend after the installation you use a heat gun or a hair dryer just to seal around the edges. But because there's very minimal stretch in this PPF boot ledge, I don't think it'll be necessary most of the time. Alright guys, so the installation should, as I said before, just take about half an hour to do. When you are installing this kit, please do it under cover in a garage or away from any sort of direct sunlight or environmental factors such as wind, rain, things like that, just to avoid any extra contaminations and things that you don't want underneath the film. If it is, again, lightly scratched or damaged, we do recommend it just giving a cut and polish beforehand. When you cut and polish, make sure that you don't go too hard around this edge because there's less paintwork across any edges. It's better to do this when the vehicle is newer rather than older. That way it's just get a better finished result. Okay, so the bottom line here is it's just going to follow through all the way, have you nicely covered, and then follow all the way up, and it's just going to fall short on that edge line there. So the film is rated to last up to 5 years. But as you can tell, when you install it, the quality speaks for itself. This is a SolarGuard product, so it's nice and easy to use. It's not as thick as every other film on the market, but the durability, and it does have hydrophobic properties, so the water will beat off when needed. All right, so I hope you enjoyed the video, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in, and we'll see you on the next one.